Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to give you guys a really brief tour of our homeschool space. I've gotten a couple questions from my last video where you are all saying, hey, we want to see the rest of that room. So I'm going to invite you in and we'll have a quick look at all the spaces that I use to homeschool my kids and the things they have available to them. So let's head on in. Alright, so I'm going to let the light adjust real quick. So, right at the front door, I have our art cart. And I got this at Harbor Freight. And it's sturdy, it holds like 300 pounds. All of that paint I got from Amazon, education stores around the area that I live in. I keep lots of glue on hand. This is clay and just extra supplies. I have a bunch of crayons down here. I have a bin for tape because what kid doesn't love tape? There are smocks, drop cloths, and lots of glue sticks. Over here is your basic stuff, you know, colored pencils, crayons, paint brushes, and clay tools. Also, you know, your handy pencil sharpener. Gotta have that. Over here in this corner, I have, you know, coats, their outside stuff that they play with, jump ropes, things like that, or swim gear, extra chairs. Now this bookcase is arranged by subject, and these are, hang on, I'm losing the light here. So these are some of the tools that I use most frequently when I'm teaching. So I have science up top, and history, math, let's see if I can get better lighting here, and language arts. These are our timeline cards, and these are just extra books and like my arrows. That's where I keep a lot of my arrows that we've done. Over here is our table. As you can see, we are making flowers for our secret garden party. So that's what those are. They're not, you know, usually there. Back here is a bench, and when I'm not using this space, when the table isn't being utilized, I just really quickly push it up against the wall and it frees up a lot of space. Underneath I have, let me move these chairs. I have a lot of our puzzles and more educational type board games. All board games that we usually play are up here in this, I don't know if it was a TV space or what, but that is where I store my board games. It makes it easy to get to. I hung this wire here, and I got these little clips from IKEA, and that is where my kids hang up their art projects. Over here is, you know, our whiteboard, and my kids make tea for themselves whenever they want. This is from IKEA. It used to be my art cart, so, you know, it just wasn't enough. So I have my teas that they have down there. Here is where I store my studio lights for when I'm making these wonderful videos. Over here I have, this bag is the embroidery stuff, friendship bracelets, the floss, things like that. This bag here is our art bag where we keep charcoals. If we want to go on nature walks, this is what comes with us. And here are my nature books. I try and keep those all together just because Liam is really into nature, and it's an easy place to send him when he wants to get his stuff. As you can see, I need more bookcases. But for now, this works out really well. This section here are cubbies where I keep my kids' work. So things that they're working on, there's 4 of them, and each of their individual things that they're working on, their math books, their reading books, whatever it is we're doing at the time, goes in those cubbies. Over here is the desk. This is where I try and work. This is where I filmed my last video from. I got some art of my kids hanging up on the wall. Here is our loop board. If you haven't seen that video, go ahead and check it out here. This is my job board down here. So yes, I will make a video about how we handle the whole money allowance type of issue. Recently, these loops, I know I didn't show these in my looping video, but these are loops for my younger 3, and it's something new I'm trying because their interests grew a lot over the summer. They had the summer off as I was, trying to establish this channel. So they've really branched out and they want to learn a lot of different things, so much so that I had to give them their own loop. So I can, go through that another time. I did a compass with them and a mind map, and that is how I get these. And we do our compass and mind maps about every 6 months just to refresh what we've covered, what we need to cover. Are we letting some things go? Are we adding new things? So this space is like the schoolroom. Honestly, it becomes more of a storage area because everything gets dumped here. It's right by the front door, and the majority of our learning does not really take place here. So where we do school is our living room. So let's head up there. Oh, real quick, I want to point out this area. This is actually our dining room, but we turned it into our workout room. And we require an hour of exercise from our kids daily. So this gets used all day long, pretty much, because everybody has their own time. My husband and myself do it where we, have our time in the weight room or the gym. And it's worked out really, really well. My littles usually just go play outside. They don't really do a whole lot of like the fitness program. We use Athlean X if anybody's interested. Highly recommend it. It's an amazing, amazing program. So we are to the place where the bulk of our learning happens, and that is our living room couch. So every morning we chill here. Our loop 2 is done here most times. I usually sit in this corner or over in this corner. Connor, the kids always fight over the center. As you can see, we finished up our read aloud today, and Liam left his Legos out. We have our library books. I try and keep close at hand. As you can see, I have books all over my house. So the bottom is mostly library books, and this shelf right here is my core things that I usually reach for. So I have my history, science, our read alouds, any art that we're doing, or classical, and other things that I'm sifting through and trying to decide if I want to use. So here is where it all happens. The magic happens in this room, on this couch. There are times during the day where each of my kids, they will branch out, especially for independent reading. Some will take the bench downstairs, someone may stay on the couch. I do have an area in our crawl space downstairs where we have mats and blankets, and they go down there and read. We also have beanbags upstairs. Sometimes they go in their room. But usually every space in our home is used in some sort of way as for homeschooling. So I have their art on the walls. Here I have what we call the art gallery, and it's just stuff that they do and have made, and all of it goes up. Some of it is falling down. And here is where I keep most of my books. So lots of picture books, chapter books, SAT stuff, other curriculum that I have decided I'm not going to use, but just can't seem to let go of. So someone may choose to read here. I have books there, Lego space. So all of it, as you can see, pretty much every inch of the house is used for homeschooling in some way. So that is our current homeschool space that I use. Now, we haven't been in this house forever, so I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of other spaces that we've had. So here is a picture of when we had a bigger house. It had like its own family room. I turned it into a schoolroom, playroom. Like, we did so many things in this space, and I love rearranging. So yeah, it went through a few different phases. this house, it had its own little room, like it had doors and everything. It was kind of nice, but it was during a period of time where I had just had Fiona and school just really wasn't happening. There wasn't enough time and we had just moved into this place, so this room stayed kind of messy and we didn't utilize it as much, even though it was a really nice space. This is in our trailer. Obviously minimal space, right? We're in a fifth wheel for 3 years, and I've really found what my essentials were during this time, because I didn't have space for everything I wanted. Like all those books that you saw around this current house, they didn't get to come with me when we lived in our RV. So I utilized the space as best I could. Here's a couple other pictures. I painted the wall so that Fiona could draw. That child loved drawing on anything. And I put up different style bookshelves so that they could see the books. It went through a few transitions, even though it was such a small space. I really loved it. We got a lot of use out of it. That folding table is from IKEA. It's on the more expensive side, but it was totally worth it. It folds out to seat. We could seat 8 people there at that table, or we can fold it all the way down so it basically becomes a shelf. It was a lifesaver. I loved it. So that is the summary of our homeschool spaces. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and maybe learned something or got some ideas for your own space. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.